right. A little bit of an abrupt stop to that. Welcome back, everybody, to the Bobby Dizzle podcast. Thanks, everybody, for signing on for yet another week. Ask everybody to please subscribe to this channel. If you have any goodness in your heart, please subscribe and share. And go to bobbydizzle.com for all ways to watch, listen, and follow on all the Instagrams and social medias. But enough about me. Tonight we are joined by Mr. Tony Avallone of the Mid-Atlantic Paranormal Project, or MAPP, that is located out of, coming to us out of Middleton, Delaware. Founded in 2016, they serve Pennsylvania, West Virginia, New York, Delaware, Maryland, and the other Virginia. And while MAPP was founded just a few years ago, Mr. Avallone has been investigating the paranormal since 2000 while I was still in high school. Thanks for being on, Tony. How are you doing this evening?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me. Appreciate this.
Awesome. I saw that 2000. Man, I was just a baby. So what's going on? You got any big projects coming up? I've been listening to your EVPs all afternoon.
Oh, great. Yeah. We have a couple places. We have a few historic caverns that we've been frequenting a lot lately because we're coming out with a lot of new evidence, and we're actually starting to share it more with the public. We're getting into a new arena where we're actually inviting the public to come investigate with us, kind of teach them the Paranormal 101, basically. And then we're also going to be venturing out to some new locations coming up soon that we're very excited for.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, speaking of your EVPs, I've been listening to them, shared them with my biologist friend, Wild Trees. That one where it says, "Were you ill?" That's incredible. Like it's.
Yes. Yes, that's actually that's a local community theater. It's been here for hundreds of years. It's actually burned down twice, and every time it burnt down was actually on the anniversary of when it burnt down before.
What?
There's a lot of history there. So when we called that, it was something.
Yeah, I thought I was listening for something else, and what am I hearing? I just hear people talking. I look, and that's what I'm hearing. It just sounds like a kid saying, "Were you ill?" Some of them you have to make yourself hear it. That was what it said. That's incredible. What's the craziest thing you've had happen on a ghost tour? As far as proving that it's real from the other side.
We had a residential investigation, and as we're setting up, a lot of the times we're picking up stuff on our equipment, our recorders, and we really don't hear it when we're actually doing the investigation. It isn't until hours or days later when we go back to listen to it, and that's when we actually capture it. But we're actually setting up, and we had two investigators in a room, and as they were setting up, they both heard "hi" in their ear, and they both jumped. They both looked at each other. One investigator was very quick on her feet, and she started, asking questions right away. And then as we're going on throughout the investigation, we actually got those recorders that they actually had on them that they were recording when they were setting up, and you could hear that "hi" very, very loud and clear. And then, when the investigator went into certain questions, you could hear a yes to one of her questions right afterwards. So yeah, that's just, I don't know, that kind of stuff when you could actually hear it out loud without having to go through the equipment. That raises the hair on your arms.
Does it cause dysfunction to your equipment when that happens?
No,
the Sasquatch bunch has.
Sometimes whatever's out there will drain the batteries a lot of times, but it doesn't hurt the equipment.
Yeah. Okay, so that's about the same effect because they're pulling that energy off of it.
Just to be able to communicate, right? They need something to help them. Yes.
Yeah, you always hear it from the alien bunch and the Sasquatch bunch that their stuff messes up, gets fuzzy, and stuff data actually gets removed. I guess
we've had times where we've had stuff set up, and all of a sudden either batteries go brand new batteries or fully charged batteries, and as soon as we start, boom, they're dead. Or during the night, all of a sudden you get a glitch, and then it starts working again. And those are things we just can't explain. That's why we try to set up more than one camera in one room. So if one goes down, we have another one going. Same with recorders. We have at least 12 or 15 recorders going at one time. And that's not counting the cameras we wear on ourselves that record audio as well.
So I'm looking at the states here, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. Which one is the most, the ones that you serve are the most?
We do, of course, Delaware. That's where I'm based out of. Yeah. But we do cross the line into PA and into Maryland quite frequently.
I would think that Pennsylvania would be the one that has the most.
Yeah, I think we've done more in Maryland than we have PA, but yes, we do We definitely do a lot of calls.
I didn't know that it's not on the list, but Massachusetts is a horrible, not a horrible, like a big hotbed for all kinds of strangeness. I didn't know they had the Bridgewater Triangle.
Oh yeah, yeah. If we get a call for someplace outside of our Mid-Atlantic region, we definitely travel. We've gone all the way down to North Carolina and did the U.S. North Carolina battleship. You know, we'll do. We'll go anywhere. Yep.
You ever been to Gettysburg?
Yes, we've been to Gettysburg several times. Very active. You got to be very careful because there's certain equipment they won't let you bring. But a recorder and a spirit box they're okay with. We just can't fly drones and stuff like that or bring metal detectors. But very active. Sachs Bridge is one of the active places that we find.
God, seems like everybody goes to Gettysburg to see soldiers by those cannons.
Yes, yes. Yep.
I guess they don't want you faking it's a ghost team and coming in there and excavating stuff with a metal detector.
Right, right. Yeah, that's for anybody. Not just ghost teams by everybody. Right, exactly. Right. There's a device. They call it the Avallone. And it's just a small little gadget that somebody invented, a very famous ghost hunter, paranormal guy. And it just goes through like a word bank and spits out random words. We had that while we were in Gettysburg, and it actually came back with soldier, you know, battle, stuff like that. So when it's related to where you're actually at, there has to be some type of connection. You know, it's not coming out with babysitter or chocolate. It's actually gearing its words to where you're actually at. And there's no GPS tracking system in it. It doesn't know where we're at. So for that to relate, same with the spirit box. One of our formal investigators had a spirit box going, and you can honestly hear gunfire in the background in between the static. You can actually hear people screaming. And it's actually, we really do believe it's picking up something almost like a residual haunting as like the battle's still going on. So
that's what I didn't believe those things really had much merit. Maybe just like white noise, but then I had more than one person come on here and was talking about how they got specific things on them.
Yes.
One of which was demonic, but that's
we come across that quite often. Yes.
God, that's probably the scariest part about ghost hunting right there.
Yeah,
that's the reason I haven't gone on anything more.
The previous team I was on prior to forming this team, their main purpose was to help people rid themselves of demonic entities. And I've seen a lot, and that's one of the reasons why I had to back off and start this team, because it does get kind of scary and you start worrying if something's coming home with you. But yeah, there are, and then we will investigate a place and we feel that there is something demonic. We will then refer them to another team that will take care of that stuff for them.
Okay. That was going to be my next question. If you did exorcisms on your,
we do cleansing with the sage and stuff like that, trying to get the homeowner or the host to feel at ease. But when something's more persistent, we'll help them find help elsewhere.
You do the white lights and the sage and the
yes, and
crystals at all? You do crystals?
I have somebody that does crystals. Yes. Yep.
That is.
I carry a couple crystals with me, but I'm still learning what they do. So I always have the people around me tell me you use this crystal for this or use that crystal for that, and so
end up with accidentally bringing a big thing of Himalayan pink salt. If it's not a crystal, nobody's making ribeyes around here.
Exactly.
Yeah, that I often wonders if teams like the one you were saying with the got a little demonic obsessed. I wonder if they get kind of like flatliners, like they want to see how far they can go, or if they're very standoffish, treat it like they're handling rattlesnakes or something. But you got to think, if you're crazy enough to go after demons,
they go in head first. They go in head first. We had a deacon and actually a priest on the team. They go in head first. And they'll tackle.
So that's a real deal. Then that's not just amateurs with a flashlight.
Right. Yeah.
I happen to be Catholic, so that kind of strikes me. Terrifies me. I was
born and raised Catholic, all the boy for several years. Yes, it's been there.
Oh, you got ashes on your head? You got ashes?
No, not today. I did not go today.
Yeah, I always, like, about every third year I'll forget, and this seems to be one of them.
Right.
I had to do this thing for work, and then I had this. I'm like, I just don't have time.
Right. Yep.
We try.
Yep.
There's a series on YouTube with a question and answer to a priest who does exorcisms. And that guy talks about it like it's driving to work, like something that happens. Yeah, it's just this, and this. I'm like, my God.
Yeah. Yeah. There's, we just recently had a homeowner call us, and actually somebody from the previous team referred them to me because they're not in town. And I was able to talk with the homeowner, went out to the house and did a little cleansing. I didn't sense anything there myself. But then when I came home, like the very next day, they're up in arms. This stuff was happening. She invited a local priest to come out. And then when he heard what was going on, he said, I can't do this. We have to go back to the diocese and get somebody else to come out. So they're working on that now. So again, not every priest or minister will actually deal with stuff like this. So.
Oh, yeah. They got that one guy they bring in, the Men in Black for the diocese.
Nobody tells. They don't talk about it,
Yeah. But everybody knows it. Like if you listen to the Catholic channel on XM, they all talk about it.
Yep.
They all know about it. You listen to Lino Roehl?
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, he's the Catholic guy on XM. I got his bobblehead over here. he's great. He makes it seem not as boring as it can get sometimes.
Yeah. No. Sometimes that's one thing about paranormal investigations is not what you see on TV. They do an investigation within an hour, have all the evidence. We're there 8 hours, basically 6 to 8 hours, and a lot of times it's just a bunch of us sitting in a dark room, talking to ourselves, hoping something will answer back. And then we won't know until we go back and listen to our equipment. And if we have 4 cameras and 10 recorders for 8 hours, do the math. It takes forever to go through all that evidence. And
yeah, that seems like the hardest part.
Yeah. Yes.
Like I've gone through an hour podcast just looking for ums and buts. That's sitting there like this.
Yeah.
So you're saying Zach Bagan's not realistic?
Is that the shows like they have to dramatize it to get their ratings? Yeah.
I kind of figured that. I was at
shows I won't watch. I won't mention them here. I just don't like the drama queens out there who scream at everything.
What was that?
I've been touched. Oh my gosh, I got to bathe in holy water now. It's just, to me, what's the point? If you can't approach it, yes, you get startled, but when you're going to act like that and start running, they do it for the ratings.
Now I was at the Sorrel Weed House in Savannah, Georgia, a few years ago. Actually, 13 years to the week. Probably today, 13 years ago.
Okay.
Well, no, it was 2010, but during the summer. So we went for a late honeymoon. It's neither here nor there. But we were down there, and the guide was serious as a heart attack. Like he wasn't one of the sensationalized guys, but you could tell he was like, who's that Larry Waters guy? He was just a real creepy looking guy. He was talking about how Zach Bagan faked a possession down there.
Oh wow! Okay.
He I'm just standing here, and they're flipping out. What the world is wrong with you? And I always kind of knew, that those shows are kind of dramatized, but that was the day I kind of lost my little innocence. I still held on to maybe they. I was like, God, yeah. Then I had somebody on this show call him a Scooby douchebag.
I never heard that one. I like that one.
Oh, later that guest messaged me and said, please don't use that because I may have to do something with Zach Bagan in the future. I don't want that out there. I'm thinking, bold of you to think anybody's watching this show, lady.
Yeah.
That 106th person that never watches this is going to be really pissed off.
Yeah.
What you say?
Can't please everybody. As long as you're having fun doing it, that's all that counts.
Yeah, I've had a couple mediums on here, and I'm pretty sure maybe I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt because they're really nice people. That at least one of them was cold reading me, and I know it's a shocker, but they what it was our building is haunted at work, or we suspect it to be because we've heard typing. When you're not in the room, you hear typing. Over the summer, we get on there. Over the summer of 2020, I was the only one in the room. I heard somebody just going to town on a keyboard. I walked back there to talk to him, and nobody's there. And so the legend begins. And and then fast forward 2 or 3 weeks ago, one of the late night guards said they walked by our office. Our office is locked tight at night. Said you could hear somebody typing from like 30 feet away outside, but through the walls.
Wow!
Like, oh my gosh!
Well, I believe it.
Sadly, we can't take any equipment in there because it's a secure environment.
Right.
I really want to. I want to take my
Yeah, that's the downside to some of the stuff. Places where you know there's activity, and it's either government owned or the owners are so high regard that they don't want that reputation. You know, and then you just feel that something's there. You want to go and investigate just to either prove it or disprove it, but then your hands are tied. You have no access. Yeah.
Now we do have a little bit of a we're kind of the Red from Shawshank of the building. With the people that can get things. Like if we wanted to make it happen, nobody's going to tell us we can't. We're basically not doing it because that's the right thing to do. But we got told by certain people who could tell us to do it that they would look the other way on certain things for a certain purpose because they know there's nothing important, you know, being said in our room. It just is in the same building. So that if this came in and got hit on my desk like at night, and you know, push came to shove, and I'm kind of the AV guy, so I've got a lot of cameras. I thought about letting one roll, end up getting knocked over.
Yep. Put a closed caption or closed TV system in there. Watch it from home. You know, set the camera up.
Don't tempt me. That's actually doable.
Yep. Yeah, we actually do that a few times when we'll do an investigation, and we either call, you know, we have to call it quits at a certain hour, 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, and we always, you know, feel that if we would have stayed, we would have caught more. So we'll leave a couple of our remote cameras there for the rest of the night, retrieve them in the morning, and then, you know, we're watching them from our homes the rest of the night, and then hopefully catch something. And that's been very beneficial.
Now, what do you think about? I kind of have a hypothesis, and it's probably something I heard somewhere. I'm just making it my own, that any place can be haunted, no matter how old. Or
yeah. It doesn't have to be a historic value to it. My belief is, if you don't cross over, if you don't go to whatever's after this, after life, that you gravitate to this place that you're familiar with. And if you're familiar with your brand new house you had built, that's where you're going to go. If you like a certain restaurant that just was, you know, that may have been there for years, or that, you know, that you were attached to at one point, you're going to go there, you know, and that's where you're going to go. There are a lot of people who do the ghost hunting or the ghost tours because they're looking for Aunt Sally. And they travel the country going to different bed and breakfasts, hoping they're going to find Aunt Sally. But if Aunt Sally never been to that bed and breakfast, she's not there now. I'm sorry. Unless she's attached to you somehow, she's not going to be there. So, yes, I do believe anything can have an entity come to it, attached to it, just because whatever's drawn to it, there's a reason for them to be drawn to that area.
Yeah, it just seems like any place could be haunted, even by something that maybe, I mean, possibly didn't have an attachment, or maybe maybe something rode in on with something that was there. Right. Not necessarily the person died there, or he came in on a suitcase or a quilt. Right. Yeah. Yep. Something that, like I said, something that they were used to, something that they were, you know, that they held dear to them. Yeah. I'm worried to death to investigate further because of shadow people. Like I don't want them. In your background looks like a shadow person.
That's fine. It's fine. We do have a couple pictures of a couple shadow figures. There's one that my previous tech guy, he accidentally just took a shot of the camera just to see if it was working. It was night vision, and after we, you know, right before we left, he looked at it, and you definitely can see the outline of it. I can send you that picture later on if you want to share it, but it you definitely see something, you know. So your shadow figures are real, you know, and you always see them in their peripheral vision, you know. Just that we always see somebody either walking. I always see like somebody either walking to our fridge over my monitors, or I see you feel somebody walk by you to the back of the room. Okay. Just at random times. Oh, crap. I'm like, just don't be standing there when I turn around. Right. Like, you can mess with me. You know, you can mess with me a little bit. And every night I set these two. I was setting my boss's finger exercise things up, saying, please knock these over. They never have. And one night I was working late, and I was like, if you knock them over right now, I swear to God, I'll quit this job. I do not. I was the only person in the building. No, they still, you got to thank them, you know. So, yeah. We use, a lot of times, we'll use cat balls. Believe it or not, these cat balls that light up when you touch them. Some investigator found them. Now, all of a sudden, what used to be $1 for 3 now is like $20 for 3 because it got onto the paranormal community. But it's a little tiny ball. I don't have one around here, I don't think. But you just lay it down, and something will move it, and the lights will light up on it. And it's really popular toy to use when investigating. So something like that, like you said, put that around wherever you think something's happening.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I often make the joke that does the peanut butter industry know how quintessential it is to the Bigfoot research community?
That's right. Okay.
Like, do they understand how much of their revenues come from crazy people in the woods of Bigfoot? So I wonder if the cat toy community knows how essential
they do now. Yes. Yes. You go to Chewy. I think that's not to advertise for them or anything like that, but they're a pet toy supply store online, and their prices went up because on that one specific item, because they know that that's what being bought for it.
I'm all for it. Like if something like that works for that reason,
yeah,
I think they ought to market have like the TAPS version.
Yeah, yeah. It's the equipment for this industry is so expensive. So anything you can find around the house or everyday object that can be used beneficial in your investigations, by all means. I find old toys that my kids used to play with that light up if you touch it. That's a lot cheaper than going out and buying a $200 piece of an instrument or a tool. So stuff like that. It's nice to come across those things.
You remember in the mid-90s when the lamps came out? If you touched them, they get brighter. Does it ever use those?
Yes, and they actually have them. They actually make them now for investigations. They actually have a lantern that you open up, and as things get closer to it, the static electricity gets closer to it. It lights up even more and more. It's like a rainbow of colors. Yeah.
I'll tell you the one thing I never liked was they did the laser grid.
Oh yeah.
And like, does those work? Have you ever seen one of those?
We do laser grids. It all depends. That is supposed to pick up the shadows. If something moves in front of it, you're supposed to pick it up. We've never had much luck with the lasers we've used. The lasers, they only last for so long because it burns up the batteries very quickly. And, they flicker, they come on off again once they start, wearing down the battery life, and it's giving you false readings. People swear by them, but we've never actually, it's one of the pieces of equipment, we have our go-to piece of equipment, but that's one of the ones where, yes, we'll put it up, have a camera near it, but we're not banking that laser grid is going to give us that evidence that we're hoping for.
See, I like this conversation because I thought that was the biggest. I thought that and the spirit box were the biggest load of crap.
Yeah,
but
spirit box,
a lot more confident.
Spirit box, it's hit or miss. There's so many different gadgets now that you can hook up to it. I have the spirit box, which is a radio that goes through the radio station. It's very quick, either forward or backwards. A lot of static. You take these 2 guitar pedals to help take away some of that static, and it's hit or miss. And if you're in a building that you don't have frequency, so you're not really going to get anything. There's of course companies that make the box for you. We've done. I wish I could think of the name of the experiment because I want to give the person credit. But if you take the spirit box and you plug earphones into it and you blindfold the person, and so they can't hear or see what the rest of the group is doing, while the rest of the group is asking questions, they're reciting what they actually get through the earphones, the noise canceling earphones on the spirit box. And we just had this happen last weekend. The lady who volunteered to wear it, her answers, what she was hearing through the spirit box, were right on target to the questions we were asking about that location. So, yeah, it's you can do, one piece of equipment may have more than one use for it. So,
I bet there's some combination of all these. You put them together, and it's just like an open radio call.
Yeah.
Nobody's just found it yet.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
And
there are a group of people out there that are inventors, and they do the paranormal investigations, but yet they make their own equipment. Instead of spending the money buying the already made equipment, they find a way to make their own to either match it or beat what's already out there. And they spend, I think, just as much money as they would if they bought the equipment, but they come up with some really good ideas and I wish I knew more about electronics, what connects to what, but it's a science.
What about the ghost apps they get on your iPhones?
I talk against it. Yeah, I talk against the apps only because we have to go airplane mode because your cell phone will make every one of your pieces of equipment go off. Yeah, so we make sure we make sure everybody turns their phones on airplane mode. Now there is the person who invented the spirit box actually invented an app that you can use. I don't know or they invented the Avallone, and the one who invented the Avallone made an app. And I just don't know. I just still feel that you have the internet on, and you have that, you know, whatever comes out of your cell phone that leaks into the air. How much can you trust it? You know, so.
Taking a step back, you said about the apps and the phones and the interference, and you know, we talked about how there was electronic interference sometimes with anomalies, be it paranormal or your garden variety cryptids. So you know, the thing is, with everybody says everybody's got a smartphone, there should be video of everything, and I think that's like the oxymoron statement.
Right.
I think that's the reason there's not video of everything, and it was more blurry. Roll that beautiful bean footage kind of stuff back in the 50s and the 60s and the 40s.
Right, exactly.
You got the best Bigfoot footage on what I call the 16 seconds Bigfoot only fans of Patterson Gimlin with their giant Bigfoot mammaries. And it was on a spring-loaded camera.
Right, exactly.
You get an iPhone, you can't get one because it just shuts it off.
Right, exactly.
Drains the batteries.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that.
Incredible how that works. I woke up in the middle of the night realizing that. I said, wait a minute, Gimlin was on a spring-loaded. I was like, wait a minute, that's the answer. Yeah. I was like, what's that redheaded girl's name on Interstellar? Eureka! Jessica Chastain.
We've actually brought the old cassette recorders, you know, to see if there's a difference between that and the digital recorders. And you do pick up, you know, it may not be as clear, but you do pick up more with the older equipment. I mean, Lorraine, when the first investigators, you know, ever, the Conjuring House lady, she used to go around, you know, reel to reel and stuff like that. You know, it's just, and definitely would pick up more, you know, more sounds than we do now with the digital stuff.
Oh, totally. I think digital stuff is, I think it enters too much into their ability to manipulate. Yeah, it has to do with the energy. It has to do with the energy they can capture. Right,
and it's also the device. You know, they have the noise reduction and you know, the low and highs. You know, enabling all this stuff is taking away the things you're listening for, and so you got to be very careful.
Yeah, it's taking away the background noise. You don't want that.
Right,
exactly. You flip it. You got to disable everything. At the same time, I believe that Tascam I was just showing you a minute ago that I call it the Ghost Hunter microphone. I think it actually picks stuff up. Those things are so sensitive.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't even know how people use them. Like you hear everything.
Yes. Yep.
It's like using the Yeti mics.
Yeah, I have the Zoom, the Zoom Corp equivalent to that one, and we're in a cemetery, and I have my earphones on, and I have that out, and it's picking up, you know, sounds from way over to the next yard. You know, it's so powerful. You know,
and God forbid somebody's using a leaf blower.
Yeah, exactly.
You could be killed. You could be thrown from your feet.
Yeah,
in the presence of a leaf blower. I had a guy who was in the Pacific in World War II. Just before he died, I had him on here. I went to his house, and I had that plugged up with this microphone on that device, and he was kind of, you know, obviously old, had a little age behind him, but like he was just talking, it was picking him up. It sounds like he had a microphone in his mouth.
Wow,
it was amazing.
Yeah.
So I think aside from those, digital stuff is not the way to go. Other than that, kind of like did you see the movie Nope?
No, I haven't. Nope, I haven't.
Nope. Well, the premise of the movie is what we're talking about. How the I'll call it the alien because that's what it's about. Was if it got near anything electronic, it would just go dead.
Okay.
They tracked it by setting up a field full of the things outside of a car dealership that do this.
Yeah.
They set up a field full of those, and when they went down, they knew where the alien was, so they could try to attack it or get footage of it. But they couldn't get footage because all they had was digital stuff. They had one guy who resurrected I think it was like a Patterson Gimlin era video camera, and he created it. And that's how they got footage of it to show everybody. That was the whole premise of the movie.
Yeah. Yep.
Jordan Peele's a genius.
Yeah. I have an old, was it the Bell and Howell old Super 8 movie camera, and I'm trying to get it working again. So I'm gonna actually try that instead of a video camera out there and see if I get anything.
Like a Super 8?
Yeah, Super 8. Yep. You know,
I have an 8mm electric camera, old Panasonic or Sony Handycam, whatever it's called, ViewSonic. Or I wonder if that would. It is film. I mean,
yeah,
it's not like they can reach in and pull anything off the hard drive. It does have batteries.
Yeah.
The ghost favorite midnight snack.
Yeah.
I mean,
when I first started this stuff, I was out there with a VHS camera, you know, the really big things, you know, trying to capture stuff, you know.
You probably did. I mean, you got stuff, didn't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, and editing was different back then, you know, Roehl. You know.
You have to batch capture, put everything in a feeder and put it on, make it go to like a hard drive, and then cut it from there.
Yes. Yep.
I was a film student in Alabama, the University of Alabama, and we had I was just on the cusp. It was in 2003, 2006, just on the cusp of everything busting out digital.
Right.
We had these little tapes, and they had little tape decks in the classroom. You hear them. We'd have to go through and batch capture everything. And my friend who does news things, he does sports videos now. He said, "You remember having to use that damn tape in school?" Because imagine if somebody brought a tape out.
Yep.
I've got a stack of those 8mm tapes back there that I've never used.
Yeah, I have a bunch right next to me. Always I'm gonna go through them and try and digitize them, but I just never get the time.
We got invited to a Bigfoot place that has like almost guaranteed like some kind of thing, either a tree knock or what have you. And if I ever go up there, it's in Minnesota, and I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm carrying that camera with me because it's got like the strongest. You could deer hunt with that night vision.
Right. Wow.
That camera looks like the Paris Hilton video and Blair Witch Project all rolled into one.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you got that reference, you're old. It's time to go get a colonoscopy.
Yeah.
Yep. So what's the most famous place you've ever investigated? You ever been to Waverly?
We have not been to Waverly. We were going to be going to Conjuring House this summer, but that got canceled. So we're going to the West Virginia Penitentiary in Moundsville. There's places in New Jersey called the White Hill Mansion. What else? See, those places they charge you to go. Yeah. Penhurst Penitentiary, and also there's another penitentiary in PA. Those places charge you. We maybe do one or two paid investigations a year, but we like going to places where we're on our own. We're invited to come, and we don't have to pay. They're the places that we try to seek out.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's fun to go to those famous places. I mean, there are several that I have on my bucket list that I want to do. But if I get offered to go someplace very unique that has a lot of activity versus one of these places that had 10 movies made after it, I'm going to go to this new unique place because I want to be one of the first to be able to document something I find. So
I think I may be on your side with that as well, because whatever's happened in those famous places has been documented. It's not like important new stuff. Right. It's not like season 3.
Right. Something's not going to pop out differently just for us, So.
Oh no! Oh, was that a knock? No. Oh yeah, he's the same guy. Zach Bacon's got that. It doesn't even count. Those old houses that just have like a basement that nobody's been to, and it's just a legend. Kids get arrested twice a year for getting in there and stuff. That's where it's at. Yeah.
I know a couple of groups that do the urban. What do you call it? The Urban X.
Urban exploration.
They just go and just go different places. I find that very neat and exciting. I would love to do that and just bring our equipment. But at the same token, you don't get permissions to do that. You actually break and get in. And they're very, sometimes you're able to get permission to get in, but most of the time you're just going in.
You can't use it.
Right, exactly.
Or show it
right.
Anyway.
And I don't want our team being brought up in the news for something like that when we want, we have a different path to take.
Yeah,
but I definitely. I do. I have a really close friend. He does it, and we trade stories all the time. I give him pointers of things to capture while he's there. A lot of times he'll do some, live streaming while he's there. And, step back for a second. I think I saw something. I'll talk him through it if I'm watching it, through whatever Facebook Live or whatever he's doing it on. But a very different atmosphere, but there's still the similar things you pick up on, like, you know, if you're actually out there doing an investigation.
I bet it's a rush.
Yeah.
I bet urban. It's fun. Yeah. I like exploring new woods. I can't imagine like a part of town that lives in.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
There's a place graveyards around here.
What's that? I'm sorry.
But we have a lot of slave graveyards around here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And like I wouldn't want to be like disrespectful to them, but I think it'd be cool to do an investigation in them. If in fact graveyards actually have, you know, spirits in them. I've heard a lot of times it's not where they really land.
50-50. You know, we have done cemeteries, but I kind of believe that, you know, other people's theories where the spirit's already gone from the body. You know, why would they be there? But we don't know if they get lost, and you know, I don't know. But we have done cemeteries. I can't say they've always been. We've gotten a lot of activity from the places, and it's just sometimes it's just the atmosphere that makes you feel you have something. So yeah, I rather do a woods or relics or something like that, you know, where something may have been at one time than a cemetery. There is a place in Maryland. It was called the town of Daniels, and the town was had to desert it because of flooding. But if you can make your way through the path and get there, you can see what used to be a church. There's walls, one or two walls still left, and there is a very small cemetery. Majority of the cemetery plots are of small children. We did get a lot of mist on cameras. We were there probably from sundown to probably about 3 o'clock in the morning. We had our own little campfire and stuff like that. You hear things, don't know what it is, but it's just a different atmosphere than going into a building.
I can imagine. I'm almost not as scared, and like I don't feel like I'm scared in the cemetery, even at night. It just doesn't have that.
Right. You see these memes all the time online that says, "Would you clean a cemetery overnight for $10,000?" Yeah, I'll go for free. You know,
there's one by my house over here. I've never been to, but people put all kinds of crazy statues, like yards. Yeah. It's like a yard sale in a cemetery. I'd like to. There's a house right next to it on both sides. I'm like, I would definitely be over there at night. Like, I would be over there enough that I would get a shadow person.
What gets me though is when people put glow in the dark or lights on the headstones. That's just when you're going by and all of a sudden you see a green light.
Yeah.
Two little red eyes staring at you. You stop and what? Yeah.
With the solar panel on them.
Yes.
So they light up.
Yep.
That seems to be a thing now. You go by, is that an orb? Is it an orb?
So what do you know about orbs?
Orbs, I don't know anything about them. I'm very skeptical of them, and I want to see some very intentional lane changing when I see an orb. Don't give me dust. It's not day one.
It's very controversial. A lot of times, if orbs are real, they have more of a rounded shape and they have a certain pattern or direction to go. Dust, you know, all of them is going in a certain direction because the airflow. Insects are very zigzaggy, you know. So if you can decipher between them, right? We have we may have it up on our YouTube page. We did have a submission from somebody who ring camera picked up a perfectly round orb, and it was coming straight down. And when it got to a certain area, it was solid enough to actually make the ring alarm go off. And as the alarm go off, you actually see a shadow figure in the distance, and it was a very quick second. You have to really watch it in slow motion to see it. But if you visit our YouTube page, it's on there. I think it's called fan submission or something like that, and you definitely will see. It's cool. Yeah.
So it had enough of a mass to trigger the IR.
Yeah. Yep.
That's legit.
Yeah. If I can give you a link to it, and you can take a look at it.
I've heard. I keep referencing Bigfoot again, but I get a lot of people like that on here. That one guy saw, and this is somebody who isn't lying. Whatever he saw whatever it was. Bigfoot came out of an orb, and the orb started crunching and turned in, and started walking. Yeah.
Oh wow!
I don't know. I don't know where I stand on.
Never heard that before.
It floated out and then like materialized, and he heard the crunch before he saw the animal. Then it materialized into the animal.
Okay. Wow. I've never heard of that. Okay.
The more people I talk to on that subject, I get the same sort of stories from people that I've never met. and it's scary because I'm starting to believe it.
Okay.
And if somebody had a gun to my head right now and they asked me if I believed, I'd say, yeah. I mean, I do. Too many people are telling me the same thing.
Right. And they don't know each other, so they're just in random stories that are very similar. Yeah.
And God love them. They're all older people who are not technically savvy, who aren't getting together at night on a Zoom call and saying, we're going to tell this person this. They barely have flip phones.
Right. Right.
It seems like the intent base of the particular of entities on the other side of the veil, as I call it, go toward people that can't record them as much. I don't know if that goes with the ghost and spirit realm, but it seems like that your aliens and your cryptids or whatever, those witnesses are all the same. Not type of people. It's people who don't have the potential. They're not coming after me. It looks like Peter Venkman or Egon. They're not coming after me, who has all that stuff like podcasts from the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
they're going after people like my papa.
Right. Yeah.
The only thing he can work is a cigarette lighter.
Yeah. I'm curious about the other parts of paranormal. We specialize just in the paranormal. The ghost, spirits, stuff like that. The things that go bump in the night. But I am curious about the Bigfoots. Yeah, the Bigfoots and UFO sightings. We have had more calls so far about UFOs. We try to point them to other teams that do it. Not many in this area, but I am curious. I've never had any experiences with either of those two, but I'm a believer. But just little old Delaware, we don't get much activity here, and especially with Bigfoot.
You know where they do get activity? Long Island.
Oh wow!
I had no idea. Long Island's eat up. Long Island has everything. They have secret government labs. They have Sasquatch. They have monsters watching up on shore, which that was a dog. I don't know how to tell those people that. That wasn't a Demogorgon. That was a dog. But the show Stranger Things was based off Long Island. Right. I had a guy that was on a CW show that was actually hosted by a Stranger Things character. And he was one of the advisors on the Montauk out there. I had him on last week, as a matter of fact, talking about all the stuff out there, the Camp Hero State Park and the government lab across the little ocean there of the little bay from Montauk. Right. Yeah. They did the LSD and MK Ultra experiments. Like, what don't I know about Long Island? And one guy, he got hit by an IED in Iraq, and now he is visited by a family of Sasquatch out there in the woods of Long Island. I'm like, what in the world, man? I thought it was all like tall buildings. Yeah. Be surprised. Ohio's lit up too. I'm surprised Ohio's not on your list. I was going to mention that. Yeah, there's a couple places there on my bucket list. There at least two different asylums or penitentiaries I want to do there. Like Shawshank, gonna be over there. Was that Kentucky? That's Shawshank. I think that's Kentucky. I think. You got Doe Run in Kentucky. I got a coworker whose mom and they're not lying. They're not lying at all. And they got attacked by a demon at Doe Run. They told that on this podcast. I work with her every day, and we talk about it. New people will come and they'll hear about this thing I'm doing here. Like, what do you got a podcast? What do you talk about? What are you, Joe Rogan? It's everything they always say. I'm like, yes, I'm Joe Rogan. I'm high as hell right now. and they're like, yeah, we talk about conspiracies. And I'm like, well, her mom was on there talking about this. And I'm like, what, your mom? And we tell it, and they're just like, all of a sudden you see the shift. The innocence lost. Like, this isn't funny. This isn't funny anymore. Turn the lights on. We told it to one old boy. We were eating a pizza buffet on post. He goes, what? And Kate told the story, and he's like, what? The whole time, this is real. It happened. He's like looking around. You can see it. He's uneasy. It's the funniest thing. But it was at Doe Run Inn, and she didn't want it Shawshank, but she called a demon. She said when she walked up to Doe Run, she said she felt it outside. But then they got a hold. I think they got to doing a seance or using a Ouija. I don't think it was a Ouija board because she's anti-Ouija board. Yeah, same here. It's like she's invite anything outside to come in and join us. And she said she felt it shift when that happens. Shawshank is in Ohio. Yep. I knew it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get busy living or get busy dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been there though. I don't think they liked it as much. And they went to Salem over the summer, and that apparently Salem's a sham.
Yeah, I had a couple people that have been to Salem too. I have never been. They said there's an actual Ouija board museum in Salem. Yeah, again, we're against the Ouija board. I'm pretty sure there's people on my team that may use it at one time, but we won't go into a location if there's a Ouija board there. We don't allow Ouija boards at our investigations, just because you don't know what's coming over. You know, you think you're talking to Aunt Sally, and it's not. It's somebody pretending.
It's a pipeline.
Yeah.
It's like stopping on the side of the interstate looking for a friend. I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah.
I was suggesting that at work. I said, why don't we leave a Ouija board with the planchet sitting on it over here all night and see what happens? She was like, hell no, I'm not coming back in here with that. Because after that demon thing happened, she got a shadow person.
Oh, wow.
For like 6 months. She goes, that's not cool. It's a whole new, like you know people that deal with this all the time, but it's a whole new thing when somebody just like me that's interested in it at like a ground level that knows somebody that's not lying. Like she's not blowing smoke. She tells the same thing.
Right.
It's like a drug to me when I hear people tell me a story and I know they're not lying to me. Like you're either on LSD or this is real, and I know you're not on LSD.
Right. And you get some that,
I do.
right, and you get those some that they believe their own stories. They may not feel that they're lying, but their experiences are real to them. So you got to be very careful. Like we get called to private residence, and we have to be careful because sometimes the living is more scarier than anything in the afterlife. So you got to be very careful. Now, you wish you could come out and ask, what kind of medications you have in your medicine cabinet.
Yeah,
you can't ask that question.
There's a lot of that going on nowadays.
Yeah.
Especially when it's crazy stories.
It seems like Halloween, we get all the calls. Our place is haunted. Come out and look. They think we're party favors. Well,
all of a sudden, I'm picked. What was that movie? Was it Ghostbusters? The new one where they come out and they were male. It was like Super Troopers. They were male strippers. They showed up.
Yeah.
Who ordered the Ghostbusters? That was a good movie. That new one they made.
Yeah, I actually like the first one and the very last one, the one they just made. And they're in production now for another one.
Especially with the Egon showing up as a hologram. It's like what I was gonna say. She was. I had something else to ask. I'd go through. I should make notes. I should make notes about these things.
Yeah.
You get on here, I just want to talk about stuff. I'm like, what's the like? Have you ever seen a full body apparition? Stuff I always ask.
Yeah. We've seen shadows. When I was at the USS North Carolina battleship in North Carolina, I saw in the distance, very clear though, like a cloaked object. If you know what like what Terminator looked like, not Terminator, Predator looked like when he was trying to cloak himself. That's exactly what we saw, and I went towards it, and then it just disintegrated into the wall.
Where was
it?
Had
a body cam, and you could barely see it on the body cam because I'm running, but you can make out that granularly visual to it. Yeah.
Where was that at?
That was at the USS North Carolina battleship in Wilmington, North Carolina.
We were going to the Carolina this summer.
Yeah. If you're going to go to Wilmington, if you're near Wilmington, you definitely it's open to the public. I think it's a very small $10 fee or something like that to get on it and walk through it. But if you go down to where the medical is, that's where we saw it. The mess hall was very active, a lot of voices. My previous tech manager, he's from the Navy, and we had a guy from ex-Marine, and they're doing their battle calls, and you hear things answering back to them left and right in the mess hall.
Really, I didn't think about that. I guess that kind of triggering if it's a residual triggering that, well, not residual, but it's triggering something that's active.
Response, yeah.
It's like they always bring toys and stuff for kid ghosts.
Yeah. I have a actual stuffed dog, basset hound, and I feel that it attracts both adults and kids. Everybody loves dogs, so and it lights up if static electricity gets near it, and the closer it gets, the louder it gets, and the more lights go up on it. And it's one of the first pieces of equipment I actually picked up, and it works very well.
I bet there's a lot. I bet like a lot of people in your position have at least one or two things that they had accidentally like that in their possession.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
especially like that lamp I was talking about.
Yes, yeah. I went to Goodwill and picked up a really rustic-looking doll, porcelain doll. I didn't do anything to it, didn't add any gadgets to it, but I'll put it out in certain locations and just put all the cameras on it, and we call it an EMF meter to see if any, if it picks up any EMF detection. And it's a center of attention a lot of times for our ATP sessions when we're asking questions. Can you touch the doll? I named her Abigail. Go touch. I'm sorry, Agatha. Go touch Agatha. And sometimes it does it right on cue. Sometimes it takes a while. But yeah, different things, you can definitely use as props. Kids, we've used Hot Wheel cars and actually seen Hot Wheel cars move from this spot to this spot just by, asking nicely.
How do you stay when that happens? How do you stay where you're at? Are you used to it?
Yeah, used to it. Yeah. Nothing. I mean, unless it's a loud bang or you hear something really growling, you're kind of used to it. But if somebody gets uneasy, we have safety words. We always say a new safety word each night, and that person will leave with somebody else if they get freaked out. But
I don't know how I'd feel. A part of me thinks that I'd want to run because I'm just the instinct. But then knowing that it's pretty much safe if it's something. Hang out like that, because my wife will see things when we go in these places that are real known for it. She'll always see something for like a split second. I'm like, would you stop? At least don't tell me. She saw a soldier just appear for a second in Savannah. I'm like, God, no. And then she tells me while I'm in there, I'm like, we got to get the hell out of here. I can't.
Yeah. No.
I was staying. We went to a Mississippi State game back in 2009. And I stayed with my friend in just south of Birmingham, Alabama. And he had an old house. And it's not that old, probably made in the 60s or 70s. But I couldn't, I was in that house and it was tomb quiet. And and I slept with my hand wedged in my ears. I went to sleep. I said, I cannot hear a word before I got. I said, if anything's in this house, it's going to say a word to me because it knows I'm freaked out. I said, I done opened the veil. I'm sensitive. I'm not sensitive all the time, but I was then.
Right.
It was
right. Yeah, if I'm by myself, we're a location. If I'm by myself, I'm very skittish. Like if we have equipment up in the attic or down in the basement, I won't go down by myself because I don't know what we encountered, what we may have woken up. We try not to wake anything up that's not already there, but we have to do the buddy system. I have gone and just could not go into that one room and I don't know what's come over me, but I just can't go in there. But as soon as somebody else comes right next to me, we go in there. And then sometimes when we do, there is a sound or we do hear something that, hey, maybe my intuition was right. Maybe I shouldn't have gone in here by myself. But then there's times where I thought I see, a child's face peek around the corner, trying to play hide and go seek or something. I go charging after it to see if I can capture it, So there's different times where you get that adrenaline that makes you go past that fear that you get, gut fear.
I guess once it happens once or twice, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen harder.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like you're in a gunfight and you survive one or two shots to the shoulder, so you end up charging harder next time. It's
right. Yeah.
Unless it's demonic, then that's bad. I guess there's prerequisites to when that's going to happen. You said the growls,
different things. A lot of times, if you get worked up prior to an investigation, I know people who've had night terrors, and then when we feel that is a sign. Okay, either you don't go or we don't go as a group, just because of that. You gotta be very careful sometimes.
Yeah, that stuff is like playing with fire.
Yeah. Where you go places that just. Not every place is haunted. We go places and we just don't have anything at all. And that's the one thing. Some teams, no matter where you go, you hear a floor creak, and all of a sudden, to them, Satan's saying, "Hey, come follow me."
Like this house is 350 years old. Stuff creaks.
Exactly. We had a call out in Salisbury, Maryland. Family was very concerned because their little boy was getting sick and was hearing noises and stuff like that. So we went out there so we could help out the family, and we put on an EMF meter. And as soon as we walked down the hallway, it started getting louder and louder. We're like, oh, wow, what do we have? Going to his room, and it's going off. Every bell and whistle is going off. Lo and behold, his fuse panel is right behind this poor kid's headboard. Oh, and we take the EMF meter around the fuse panel, and the thing's leaking electricity. Is, I said, either you get an electrician here to fix this, or you move your son out of here into a different bedroom, because this is going to make you sick. That kind of
driving him crazy.
Exposure. Right, exactly. That kind of exposure can make you nauseous, hallucinate. Right. So a lot of places aren't. There's other reasons for their activity and stuff like that. But
God, I'd rather it be haunted than that happen.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how that poor kid was probably having a miserable life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What'd I have? I'll tell you what's funny. I had a medium on here was talking about how she does investigations, sort of like yours. You may or may not be more legit and or scientific, but she was saying that a lot of the demon cases she gets with the 3 scratches are ghost cats. I'm like, what? Ghost cats?
There are such things as ghost cats. Yes. Yeah. So if you look at my recent Instagram and Facebook post, my arm, I actually had 3 scratches on my arm. It did not feel it right away. It was towards the end of the night, and then the next morning it was inflamed. Yeah.
She told me that. She goes, you go on these demon chases, and people think they were scratched by a demon, and turns out it was a ghost cat in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which Tony, you know who Tony Bruschi is? Real Ghost Stories Online.
Yeah. Yes.
One of his big stories is his cat will lay on his bed in his mom's old house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His daughter Harper went and saw it and felt it, I think.
Yeah. I think you also saw it. You can see the impression, I believe, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Said you can see it on the bed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My wife had a cat she had to put down like a year ago, and one time I thought that thing was in the bed, and thank God it was the one that's alive. I'm like, where's that cat? It's the only time I've ever wanted to pet a cat. Please be a cat there. For the love of God, let there be a cat in this bed.
Yeah.
So I will get some holy water. So help me God.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Okay.
We may have covered it all.
I think so. This was fun.
I know it was. And I always do if I never talk to somebody about this again questions. That's like this entire podcast, just me being a little kid talking about things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Think about changing the name to the Bobby Dizzle Hypothesis.
I like the Bobby Dizzle.
Yeah, that came because my nickname back home was Bob and last name D.
Mm-hmm.
And Instagram wouldn't let me put my name in there. It's like, this name's taken. I'm like, well, hell, just Bobby Dizzle then. Like, just something stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it kind of, and 2 or 3 people at work started calling me that. And I'm like, whatever, I'm going with it.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I'll end up on Rogan as Bobby Dizzle one day. You wait and see. The biggest failure in podcasting. So how did you mess this up that bad?
Nope. I can always say I knew you win.
Yep. I'll put you in my Rolodex for panels when they come up too. I've got a couple panels coming up in the summer.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Once I started at 20 mid-30s, and I'm in my mid-50s now, so I've got about 30 episodes from people in this genre.
Oh, cool.
I've done other subject matters, but I'm getting more niche nowadays.
Okay.
Just seems it's more fun. I don't want to talk about people's careers.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like I had stand-up comedians on here. I just can't wedge it in.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I called it the darkness of Bobby Dizzle, the Bobby Dizzle darkness, and did more, because some stand-up comedians they all had dark childhoods.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Just a thought.
Yeah.
But I'll reach back out. Yeah, they were fun. They're really fun. And if this ever kicks off to any kind of legitimacy where I can have enough time to build another one, it will be on comedy reviews. That's my next move.
That's cool.
Because that is comedy is my favorite genre.
Music. That's cool.
All right, we'll go ahead and end it. Thanks for being on. It's
definitely
it's been a cool hour, and
went
by too damn quick.
Yeah, and I'll send you more links and stuff if you want to see some more stuff. By all means. But
yeah, I'll post them up on my Facebook too whenever whenever this airs, and it may air in March and it may air in April, but I'll let you know so you can tell your friends.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll probably advertise it on our pages and stuff so that people know. Can I cross post it on YouTube or no?
Yeah, close the shit. You can tattoo it on your forehead. I don't care. You can even give them my YouTube channel and tell them to subscribe here. So I'm coming up later on.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll definitely do that.
I've got stuff that your people would love. I mean,
I agree.
Just off the top of my head, I'm sure to goodness they'd like this kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right, man. Everybody, thanks for watching. We're going to end the live broadcast now. Peace out. It's a Bobby Dizzle podcast. That's another podcast.